Man, these guys are thick. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're here to showcase some ogres. Ogre Mercenaries will be joining the Total War Warhammer series in Warhammer 2's newest patch. We've already spoken about them in length, but now we can see them up close and personal. Keep in mind that the ogres will only be available through Total War Access, meaning that 1, you don't need to buy the DLC, and 2, you need to sign up to Total War Access on the Total War website to be able to acquire the ogres on release day. Aesthetically, from what we can see, they look exactly what was expected from ogre units, and that's always a massive benefit. No radical redesigns or anything like that. But before we start looking at each unit individually, let's just go and check out how we can recruit them on campaign. Ogre camps, as you can see on screen, will appear at random intervals throughout your campaign. What triggers the ogre's arrival is acts of destruction, so as long as there's fighting happening, settlements are being attacked, and towns are being razed, there's a small chance that ogres may appear. These camps themselves are the only way that you can access ogres, and keep in mind that the AI can also access ogres too. Any faction in-game at the moment in Warhammer 2 will be able to recruit ogres. If you so wish to recruit ogres, when the camp appears on the campaign map, all you have to do is send an army there. As soon as the event triggers, you'll see that you have a dilemma appearing, and there will be 3 different types of ogre tribes, each of them dedicated to something in specific. This means that you won't be able to outright recruit all the ogres, you'll only be able to get a certain number of them depending on the tribe, and that will force you, if you want more, to keep on being destructive in order to trigger more and more camps arriving. After triggering the event, you'll be able to access the Ogre Mercenaries tab, and you'll be able to recruit your available Ogre Mercenaries instantly, very much similar to that of Regiments of Renown. Keep in mind, however, that they can be fairly expensive, so if you're going to start recruiting them, make sure you have not only the available funds, but a decent amount of upkeep to be able to afford them, or they will leave without a moment's notice. Let's check out the new units and stats directly. First up, we've got the Ogres with dual weapons. Anti-infantry, armor piercing, and with ogre charge, which means that they can do a lot of damage getting up close and personal. Interestingly enough, like I've said in a previous video, standard ogre balls are pretty much just the standard infantry, low tier, but stat-wise when compared to humans and so on, they're actually fairly powerful and are going to pack a very strong punch. The same could be said about the generic ogre balls, except they don't have anti-infantry this time. Now it's important to note that all ogres will have ogre charge, and they will also have fear and be able to be siege attackers. Ogre Mercenaries will greatly benefit any races currently not having a lot of monstrous infantry, and as I've said, they do pack a punch. Ogre Man-Eaters with great weapons join the fray, a bit of a Sartosan feel with these guys, and they look absolutely stylish, don't they? I mean, you can't tell them otherwise or else, they'll eat you, but you know what I mean. Armor piercing and anti-large, these ogres are geared out to do damage and damage against big boys. Which fits with the theme, as the Silence and the Fury is going to have a bunch of new big beasties to be able to smash down. More man-eaters, this time a ranged version with pistols, though I'm pretty sure that we can't really call that ranged weapon a pistol. Ogre man-eaters with pistols will be able to fire on the move, and they're decent at melee combat too, meaning that not only can you keep them moving about and firing, but should you want to, just smash them into the enemy lines. Mournfang Cavalry are perhaps one of the most terrifying units I've been able to play against on the tabletop, and now we're going to see them in Total War Warhammer. Heavy Shock Cavalry cannot begin to describe what this unit can do on the battlefield. It is incredibly powerful, deceptively fast funny enough, and can take a decent amount of hits before you start losing some ogres. I know what you're all thinking, and I'm thinking the same thing too. Imagine these paired up with a dwarf army. It's going to be absolutely hilarious, isn't it? The ogre units are pretty strong, though keep in mind that maybe all ogre armies might not be the best way to go about things. They are of course able to do a lot of damage, and in early campaign they will be able to cause a lot of havoc. However, from my experience, as you start dealing with other armies that are being upgraded and starting to bring doom stacks, perhaps this might not be the best way to go about things. This of course depends on your playstyle though. I've seen the Mournfang Cavalry do a lot of damage on a few of my playthroughs, and I've seen less damage come from them in other playthroughs too. Of course, this is just a taster to see what will come in the future, as now we're all eagerly awaiting to see the rest of the Ogre Kingdoms when we eventually see them in Warhammer 3. Here's hoping they end up being the pre-order incentive so we won't have to wait long. But what do you guys think about the Ogre units at the moment? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and let's start a bit of a discussion.